There's one block that good people miss when they're trying to manifest. If you've read all the manifestation books, done the techniques, and it's still not happening for you, especially with your bigger goals, it's not because it doesn't work. When I discovered this for myself and then later on for my clients, I had been obsessively trying to start a YouTube channel for about a year and a half and still having trouble just hitting record. But through the discovering this and the process of becoming, all these other unforeseen things happened because my energy changed. So in this video, I'm going to share the shift that made the difference for me and for clients.
You could be the master of your fate, you could be the captain of your soul, but you have to realize that life is coming from you and not at you, and that takes time.
I started trying to make a YouTube channel back in like June of 2019, and I bought all the camera equipment, and every time I went to record, I would freeze. And I couldn't understand why I kept procrastinating. Every time I went to go do it though and write a script, I would feel really heavy inside and all of a sudden really insecure and really crappy, and my energy would crash. I ended up procrastinating and not making any videos or doing anything until a year and a half ago today. And one of the rules of manifesting or co-creating with the universe is you have to be the energy of that which you want to create. You have to become a vibrational match. There are ways that our nervous system interprets what we're wanting as a threat because it feels vulnerable to go into the unknown and the unfamiliar. And I start doing a ton of healing sessions, and a year goes by and I still find myself having to force to override that resistance in my body. So I thought, what gives, right? Like, why am I still having trouble doing this with YouTube? Some part of me just truly thought it would be fun to really be of service and helpful. But there was another part of me, and I backtracked and I said, who is the one that believes that I'm not okay if I don't have this goal? I found that part and I saw that this part did not feel this full self-acceptance of who she was, of life, of the universe. She had this identity that something was wrong and I have to keep finding something to make it right. And I started working on that part, and I found that this part lacked a deep acceptance. Our conscious mind is only 5% of our consciousness. Our subconscious is 95%. It's just like in that movie Inception, like whatever is at the deepest parts of our consciousness will filter our reality, and we'll be seeing through that lens.
The subconscious is motivated by emotion, right? Not reason.
So I started getting a ton of healing sessions just on that, on a deep self-acceptance. All this life force freed up, and so much of the things that I have been working on while getting healing sessions around YouTube completely dissolved. Some alignment in my system like clicked into place, and all of a sudden I could feel the support of the universe. It was like releasing the dams.
Take the dam! Release the river!
We live in a holographic universe, so we don't see things as they are, we see them as we are. So when I was walking around with this, something is wrong with me, then when I looked at YouTube, I couldn't see anything except for my own wrongness. I couldn't share the content that I wanted to share without feeling really vulnerable that someone was going to judge it, because I was judging it, because my foundation, which is where all my life force is coming from to co-create with the universe, was based on this premise of lack, something being wrong.
We accept the love we think we deserve.
Can we make them know that they deserve more?
We can try.
There is a concept of self, like higher self, our spiritual self, that still small voice, whatever you want to call it. Dick Schwartz, who was the developer of internal family systems, found that when any human, any client, no matter how much trauma they had, unburdened enough, this spiritual self or this quiet, still bigger self would arise. And that self would have compassion, clarity, curiosity, playfulness, calm. It was this really wise presence that was in every single human. So when I healed that part of me that was rejecting myself and not in deep acceptance of me, all of a sudden so much self-energy rushed back. It was potent. That's when I started being able to record on YouTube easily. I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm like 100% in self, but you only need to have a dominant amount of you in self regarding any topic, and all of a sudden you can start doing so much more than you ever thought before. One of my favorite neuroscientists, Emily McDonald, I watch her Instagrams all the time. She's a neuroscientist who believes in manifestation. So a really cool thing that Emily McDonald shared was that our brains can completely be rewired and retrained. And I've been doing trauma healing practice work since like 2017. I've trained in various different modalities, and I have found this to be true. When we rewire fundamental beliefs like deep self-acceptance, everything shifts. And when that shifts, things like feeling worthy, believing in yourself become much, much easier. A great thing to ask yourself, instead of saying, I'm failing at manifesting, ask yourself, what is this showing me about myself? How do I feel towards life? And really feel your body. Your body is the doorway to the subconscious. You have to work on it at a subconscious level. That's important. So you could really pick any modality you want as long as it works on regulating the nervous system and deeply accessing the subconscious. I love ancestral healing work and internal family systems. It's just my go-to choice. It's been shown in IFS that people access a ton of ancestral memories and even past lives. So we have a much to unburden, but once we do unburden all of that, so much self can come online. And again, that system reboot effect is incredible. There's this other abundance manifestation coach who I love named Kathy Heller. She was recently teaching this money workshop, and she was talking about the third door. She has a friend who wrote the book called The Third Door. And she was talking about how, like, if you picture being at a club, there's this first line where everyone's waiting, hoping to get into this, really cool club, if you're into that sort of thing. Then there's the second line, which is all VIP, famous people, whoever they are, waiting on the second line. And then there's a third door. You can call it like the universe door.
Through the first door. Oh, it's easy to get through that door, and on the other side, waiting for you, are all the nummiest treats you can imagine. But you know what? There's also another door. Guess what's on the other side? Anyone want to take a guess?
Vegetables?
No, not vegetable.
And she said that most people are too afraid to leave the first line or the second line to even try the third door. But when you relate that to manifestation and nervous system regulation, when your system is regulated, you see more opportunities. When you retrain your brain to say, what is that third door? All of a sudden, infinite possibilities come alive. Dr. Joe Dispenza, who I've attended 4 of his retreats, always talks about the infinite potential. Physicists have talked about how there is a quantum field and that energy is what creates matter in reality. But when our nervous system is not regulated, we cannot see these opportunities. We're too busy filtering for the threat. We're too busy on the first line saying, I can't leave this line, I'm not good enough, or I'm going to lose my people. If we're on the second line, we're like, I can't lose what I already have. What if there's nothing there? What if there's not enough? In A Course in Miracles, lesson 92, it says, miracles are seen in light, and light and strength are one. Life force flows through our nervous system. When our brain is trained to see opportunity, to see life, universe, and being our own allies, the third door actually shows up.
Have you ever transcended space and time?
Yes. No. Time, not space. No, I don't know what you're talking about.
As soon as I regulated enough of my nervous system, holding that possibility for a third door, infinite possibilities, not just either or, line 1 or line 2. It became a natural thing. My mind just naturally sees opportunities now where it wasn't seeing it before. So making this YouTube channel all of a sudden became so much easier. Other opportunities to teach, to have clients, they all started coming in. Other streams of abundance started coming in, all because this process of becoming, that's the real goal. It's not really about the thing that we think is going to do the thing. It's really about the journey of becoming, your own hero's journey. Even though I had been focused on YouTube, I had other opportunities come in because my energy just shifted and it was matching other goodness that was shifted. And it happened for another client of mine because he was subconsciously seeing the future as being disappointing, that it would inevitably be disappointing with job, with friendships, whatnot. So when we cleared this system reboot, all of a sudden he started just feeling happier because he wasn't living into this future where he was expecting disappointment and pain. It just neutralized and he was like, oh, I have more energy, I feel happier. He got this like rave review from his team and his employer, and he's being now considered for this much higher position. The universe started aligning and showing him that it is his ally. So if this was helpful, I have a newsletter, and when you sign up, you get these free resources. 3 PDFs that show you your maternal and paternal ancestral effects on life, because it's really our attachment wounds that affects how we see life, source, God, universe, and then also ourselves. So it's really clarifying. And then I have a free AI bot to help you look at and bring some compassion and support and clarity to what you discover on these PDFs. It's really great. I have a number of people who have come back to me and said like, whoa, this was super helpful. It was the basis of how I found out how I was foundationally relating to manifestation. And it was from this place of not being in big self energy. And that shifted.